The dock is rarely used and its maintenance has lapsed. There's evidence of rust and metal strain, but only of non-crucial components. It's safe to stop for now. Once inside the dock, the sun's scoring light is diminished. Let's complete our order right away. Deliver the tea. They sell ammo. Well, now we have ammo. The commissary. They sell stained glass. Not supplies though. I'd only wanted to buy one, but that's fine. An outpost on the roaring edge of the sun, shielded from malevolent light by an eggshell of stained glass. As you emerge from your train, suit-swaddled engineers gather, plainly astonished by your arrival. They bombard you with complex questions about how you dealt with dense sunlight and skewed chronos sort of fields. Once satisfied, they hand out protective suits to you and your crew. Yours is patched and torn, one boot missing. Was it that hard? Getting here? An engineer sprays you with a substance that smells like lemons gone wrong and searches your pockets, a cursory effort at best. They seem distracted. Sunlight seeps like syrup through cracks in the stained glass ceiling. The floor shudders in time with the churning machinery far beneath your feet. The air has a tank of chemicals, bonfires, and rain. Pistons pump, cogs turn, and suit-swaddled figures stand to the engineering. Bellowing over shrieking metal. Let's write a port report. The clockwork sun is the preeminent symbol of the Empire's heavenly dominion. The newspaper in London call it enduring, everlasting, eternal. In response to your questions, the engineers shrug. The day dawns, the sun brightens. Night comes, the sun dims. What more is there to say? Some of them seem so exhausted they can barely stand. They insist its proximity to the sun that affects their sleep. You now have one yearning burning. Okay. Head toward this sundial-shaped building. You'll be the sequencer's new favorite project, one of the engineers tells you. It'll keep him out of our hair for a while. No thanks, I'll visit the glass house. There's a dozen signs warning you to stay away, each more insistent than the last. The engineers shout, but they're too busy to stop you. Okay, maybe we don't do that. The vaults below are safer, protected by a dozen layers of stained glass. Beneath the machine-bristling surface, you find a ring of 9 vault doors, each engraved with the name of a classical muse. 8 are locked and barred, behind signs saying things like vacant or under renovation, or, in one case, unfortunate chronological discrepancies. The 9th, marked Terpsichore, is the only door open to you. When you enter, your footsteps ring through dusty barracks and abandoned canteens. These are the engineers' quarters, but they are all on the surface, working. Except one. The broken steward has been working on the sun since before it first shone. She has been here far longer than any of the engineers above. The broken steward makes her way carefully toward you, cane clacking on the floor. She has a markedly stiff-limbed gait, and her arms creak as she removes her helmet. Sure, let's speak with her. She smiles. Her teeth glint oddly. She catches you glancing at her mouth and smiles even wider. Her teeth are shards of cracked glass, protruding at odd angles from her gums. It's not just the teeth, she says, with a brusque air that brooks no sympathy. Damned sun turned my bones as well. Terrible nuisance, really. It gets in the way of work. You notice her fixed neck, her stiff limbs, her careful movements. It's not too bad, she says. Good thing I like soup. Ha. That's horrible. That's all we get out of her. So we return. Head toward Azimuth. That's a new option. The engineers wave you onward, shouting something cheerfully derogatory about the sequencer. It's mostly lost in a row of pistons. The strength of the sun 71, you need 40. I don't know. Let's do that, I guess. Azimuth is an enormous sundial without shadow, its roof topped by a golden shark-fin gnomon. There are still racks of yellowed pamphlets on the walls. It once served as a kiosk, selling tickets to sunspotter tourists. These days it is something more like a temple. Frescoes on the curved walls depict the triumph of the new sun over the old. A figure in a yellow-collared protective suit is delivering a sing-song sermon to mostly empty pews. The dazzled sequencer looks up, delighted at your approach, and hurriedly wraps up his speech. He offers you tea with a flash of 2 white teeth. Ask him about his role, request access. He's got a request. Okay, let's first make discussion. The only other people up here are disturbed prisoners and exhausted engineers. I'm a priest of the new sequence, declares the sequencer. The brightest truth, the wildfire that has swept Albion. He points out at the expanse of the sun. There burns a beacon, a savior, and a speck of God. We venerate the clockwork sun and its immortal architect, our empress. I'm here to greet pilgrims and safeguard the souls of our engineers. Azimuth is also the only access route to the sun-shattered dome, an exhibition hall that was built back when we received more visitors. The dome is terribly dangerous, and I advise you to avoid it, no matter how much you hear about the priceless artifact inside. That won't stop me. He's got a request. Together we can help the less fortunate, he says. You will be compensated for your time. There are many poor souls out there in need of our help. Beleaguered, ignorant masses. I've never met them, but I am assured they exist. Where does this guy come from? He pauses to wipe his eyes. When we lift them from their contemptible state, perhaps they will come to appreciate the greatness of the sequence. He sends an orderly to fetch a wooden crate. He sends an orderly? Is that not an adverb? Well, once it's set down before him, he wraps the lid proudly. 600 manuals on how to correctly tie a bow tie. Deliver these to brothers in the work world, and I'm sure they will be immensely benefited by their improved understanding of etiquette. What the hell? Request access to the sun-shattered dome. Beyond Azimuth lies the maze of abandoned exhibition halls, crowned by a magnificent broken dome. You need 100 Terra at most. You need crew. Let's do that. As dangerous as it apparently is. The sequencer obviously takes his role as gatekeeper seriously. He fusses around you, checking you and your crew's gear, tucking on straps, checking for rips, wiping your stained glass goggles with a silk handkerchief. All the while he spouts an endless stream of warnings. Don't enter the Shalimar, never travel in a group of 3 or fewer, and resist the urge to sing no matter how fiercely your throat burns. And for sequence's sake, watch the condition of your suit. With that, he pats you on the back, hands you a brochure, and sends you through the heavy iron door to the dome. Okay, state of suits. It's gonna be a thing we have to check. Let's remember the rest. Don't enter the Shalimar. If given the option, we might still do it. Never travel in a group of 3 or fewer. Resist the urge to sing. Okay. Exhibition halls built to accommodate sun-spotted tourists and sequence pilgrims, and abandoned after the dangers of the sun became impossible to hide. Priceless paintings hang in bleached racks. Magnificent relics have been left to accumulate glittering glass dust. Is anything still intact? The stained glass sky has collapsed, and unfiltered sunlight gnaws savagely at your hazard suit. It is currently undamaged, though a little shabby. You come upon what looks like a glittering gold carousel, but instead of horses, it features glass bottles as tall as you. They are each filled with a near impenetrable liquid. Right? and within dark shapes writhe sluggishly. Return to safety or search elsewhere. Investigate the carousel. Perhaps you can deduce its purpose. It might hide something of value. It will cost valuable time and entail greater risk, but treasure beckons around the next corner, you know it. Mirrors are not our main stats, so yeah. Let's go somewhere else. In the time you waste, just suit the graze a little further. What have I read in that? You find your path blocked by a tangle of bleached white foliage. The Shalimar garden exploded from its greenhouse long ago, feeding furiously on the sun's light, until it swelled to a jungle. Explore the Shalimar. The dazzled sequencer warned you away from here. We're going! That's a partial success. Acid roses, predatory daffodils, snapping tulips with lamprey mouths. Specimens imported decades ago from old London, the kind of common flowers that might be found at the street florists, but bone white and deadly. Your crew hacks through them all, leaving a swathe of slaughtered jungle in your wake. After much sweat and panic, you come upon one of the Shalimar's treasures, hidden in a tangle of pale weeds, an oyster shell encrusted with diamonds. As you approach it, a thorn vine lashes out from the undergrowth and entwines your arm. Fight the vine out for ourselves. No. Go to your crew for help. Yes. Abandon the treasure. No. They are shaken and exhausted. Hopefully they can handle one more battle. Well, actually, we have high iron, so perhaps we are suited to that kind of challenge. I'm kind of afraid we'll die though. Let's try it. For once, we'll do something ourselves. The vine squeezes until your suit's rigging creaks, thorns puncture, and the suit deflates with a hiss. But eventually, hacking again and again until the vine... But eventually you triumph, hacking again and again until the vine snaps. You retreat with your prize. Your suit is in ruins. We got 250 sovereigns. Okay. Your suit hangs in rags, your crew are panicking, their suits are in a similarly lamentable state. You push them too far. We only did one thing though. Okay, well, we don't have an option here. Light floods you and a sickening sense of peace that must be fought with every fibre. Something glass cracks inside your head. A tumult. French would be tumult. Tumult. I wouldn't have expected that. A tumult, stampede. Your crew run, shoving in their haste. Someone falls. It's only when you arrive back to Azimuth and conduct a head count that you realize one of your crew was left behind. Big deal. In the dome beyond, you hear a familiar voice raised in rapturous song. Don't sing though. Oh no, we are back to safety. Okay, well, we just leave. We've not visited the glass house. Apparently it's dangerous. We need to go there. An isolated section of the abandoned exhibition halls has been repurposed to hold not treasures but prisoners. Each wears a grey smock rather than a protective suit, leaving them utterly undefended from the ravages of sunlight. They sit slumped in unlocked cells, making no effort to escape. Where would they go? Some of the prisoners are shining at the seams, some have eyes of curdled glass. A fractured face turns to watch you. A few are singing in praise of the sun, mouths bloody and throats slattered. You should perhaps be horrified, but the song wraps tender chords around their mind and numbs you. Glass crunches underfoot. When you lift your boot, you discover a cracked ear beneath. You could speak with them. That's unlikely to go right. Approach the half glass empty. What? What's that about a half glass empty? I don't... Only one cell is locked and the man within is neither singing nor screaming. The left half of his body is shimmering, translucent. Only the flesh and muscle of his left half are vitrified, not the bones and blood within. The glass is suffused with 1,000 fine frozen capillaries, like delicate red cracks running through ice. It fixes you with an anguished stare. Get me out of here. Why is his cell locked and he's alone? This was an exhibition hall once, never a prison. An engineer must have had to install those bars especially for him. The others would not leave even if they could. Their minds are lost. The empty attempts a one-sided shrug. And, well, the Empire sent me here because I was smuggling sunlight from the Neath, back before the horizon closed. When I sold it, I told my customers that the light from the clockwork sun was toxic, and true sunlight was the only cure. I ended up causing a minor panic in London. I think one of the engineers locked me in because he took offense to my criticism, though. He gestures at his vitrified body. I stand by it. Sure. We will agree to help him. Thank you. His voice is hoarse and he speaks in barely whisper. You will need to find a permit for my release and present it to the steward. Forged, legitimate, I don't care. 3 ministry stamped permits. Let's write that down. Clockwork Sun. Three permits. Okay. Well, we've done what we could. Here in the bazaar, right, they were selling ammo which we don't need. They are selling fuel, we've bought what we needed. We've got 4 supplies. I guess we explore around the sun. I don't actually want to go in the sun though. That's an insane thing again, there are so many of these. Explore that side and then at some point we'll do the other one. That's an explorer. If he doesn't want to fight, I'm not gonna press the issue. I don't really want to stay near that tower.